I have another box, another opening video and review of a Discogs seller, along with some vinyl finds. That's what's coming up next here at Tone and Grooves. Hello, vinyl community, music lovers, and anyone else who just happened to stumble upon this video. Welcome to Tone and Grooves. My name is Jeff, and this is another unboxing video. I told you, and I've been buying online. Can't buy locally, can't go to the stores, so I've been buying online, hunting, digging in virtual crates online. This is from a seller called ActiveVinyl, a Discogs seller. Let me clarify that. Discogs seller, and their name on Discogs is ActiveVinyl. They're in Burbank, California. Burbank, California. So I was, honestly, I was super pleased that the package even arrived. The only time that I have had packages lost in the mail is when they've gone through that Los Angeles, the Los Angeles sorting, U.S. Postal Service sorting facility in Los Angeles. So I was worried when I got the tracking. I didn't, can't tell on Discogs. So when I got the tracking information and I saw that it was shipping out from Burbank, I was like, oh boy, I hope it makes it. So it made it. It made it. It's an LP mailer folder. I'm not a huge fan of these because, especially for bigger orders, they do this kind of thing here. They squish. They're fine when you. I just know from my own experience. Selling stuff online and whatnot, and using these LP mailer folders. If you only use like the bottom half, up to this little perforation, they're fine. They're great, especially if you put extra the LP, like the filler pad things, so take up the extra space. So that'll totally guard against corner crushing and whatnot. But when you go this big, they're not structurally sound anymore. They squish and whatnot, and then at least, it's helpful that they put tape all around except for this corner to see how now this corner has come open. So which is not a huge deal, but especially like Wisconsin in the wintertime when we got snow and stuff out there, and the postman just leaves the packages sitting on the step. And if there's snow and ice on there and that melts, and and then you've got this kind of a deal going on, that'll go right in there, and now you've got water damaged records. So I don't like the mailer folders for the bigger orders. I appreciate like Philadelphia Music on the bigger order, like they use a real box, not an LP mailer folder for the bigger orders. So I appreciate that about them. Anyway, so got a fragile sticker. That's good. I don't know that the Postal Service really pays attention to that. It all goes through the same, whether it's marked fragile or not, it all goes through the whatever equipment they use to, send stuff through and get it all sorted. So let's see what we got in here. We got some, oh wow. Well, that's nice. Very cool. We got a sandwich. We got a sandwich here. Two cardboard filler pads with the records in between. All of it wrapped and taped up in bubble wrap. So that is super secure. Let's see if I can get into this now without... without damaging stuff. Because of the filler pads, that actually kind of makes it easy because I can just kind of get my blade in there. I should be cutting away from myself, right? So I don't cut myself. That would be smart. All right, so now we got just like a little nice little envelope, and we can just pull those puppies right out of there. Maybe, hopefully. We're caught. There we go. All right. This is impressive. Every album is in a plastic sleeve. Ooh, even like the resealable ones. Fancy schmancy. Wow. And here's a third piece of cardboard in there. Very nice packaging. Even though it does, I don't like the, like I said, with the oversized, you know, the bigger orders in the LP mailer folders. To do it this way on the inside is just awesome. Everyone in a sleeve and everyone super cool. Fantastic. Okay, so let's see what we got here. You can probably already see. We got some Benny Goodman in here. All of these were graded very good plus near mint, with the exception of one record that was very good plus, very good plus. So let's start with the very good plus near mint. We've got, this is Benny Goodman. Doesn't even reflect a little bit, but these are nice sleeves. Benny Goodman and his orchestra, the Camel Caravan, Volume 1, 1937. And all of these are on the Sunbeam label. The Sunbeam label is a reissue label. I don't know that they're still producing CDs or anything like that. I don't know that they're still in business. I've never had one of these. I don't use these resealable sleeves, so this is different for me. I have a little story about that, about my experience with a resealable sleeve. I was on my honeymoon in California, and in fact, 5 years ago today, we were still on our honeymoon. We got married April 25th, so just last week, and so I think we were still on our honeymoon at this point. Anyway, we went to Amoeba Music Records in Hollywood, and they had I was at Amoeba and just completely overwhelmed. Sorry, going down a little squirrel moment here, but this is a good story, I think. And so we were at Amoeba Records, which is it's overwhelming. If you've ever been there, I mean, it's absolutely overwhelming. It's huge and vast, and there's so much stuff there. I mean, I could have spent days there. I mean, but we were there, a couple of hours. Anyway, so I did most of my shopping on the wall. Like Steve Carlson talks about, I shop the wall. I don't usually shop the wall, but at Amoeba Records, I shop the wall. And on the wall, they had a copy of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the MoFi pressing, original, Mobile Fidelity pressing. So, of course, it was way up high. You got to go get somebody who works there to get it down. So this guy brings it down, and he hands it to me, and he's standing there supervising while I take it out of its sleeve, and it was in one of these resealable sleeves. So I get it out, and I go to check the vinyl, right? So I put the sleeve, I put the jacket on the sleeve, and I'm analyzing the vinyl, and as I do that, the resealable flap comes down on the jacket of this. I think they wanted like $80 for this, and it sticks. It sticks to the front cover of this jacket, and now I'm panicked because now I gotta peel this off and hopefully not damage the jacket. And this guy's watching me like hawk eyes, and and I turn to him and just kind of sheepishly grin and say, I may have just bought this record, huh? So it peeled off with some difficulty, I would add. It didn't just come right off, but luckily it did not damage their album, which I ended up not buying. So I bought a David Bowie record and spent $80 on that instead. But anyway. back to our subject here. So these were all graded very good plus near mint. These Camel Caravan. It's got, what are these? I'm not sure what these numbers are. Oh, that's just the. That's interesting. So that's the. I mean, that's. Anyway, here's the back cover. These are radio shows, so recordings of radio shows, live radio shows from, obviously, this is from August 10th, 1937 and August 17th, 1937. This is like Benny Goodman's heyday. I mean, you got, his orchestra, you got Benny Goodman, you got Harry James on clarinet. Benny Goodman on clarinet, Harry James on trumpet, Ziggy Ellman, Chris Griffin, you got Red Ballard, Murray McEachern on trombone. You got you got George Koenig, or Koenig, I'm how you pronounce it, Jaime Schertzer and George Koenig on alto sax, Art Rollini and Vito Musso on tenor sax, Jess Stacy on piano, Alan Roos on guitar, Harry Goodman on bass, and Gene Krupa on drums. So, like I said, this was, and then you got some trio and quartet songs here, which was Benny Goodman, Teddy Wilson on piano, Gene Krupa on drums, and then you got the quartet, which is Benny Goodman, Lionel Hampton, Teddy Wilson, and Gene Krupa. Like I said, this was his heyday. That 35, 37, 30, pre-war era. So this should be awesome music. And then, one of the things that's so intriguing to me about early jazz and big band music is that, records, especially in the early days, like the teens and 20s, records were like, that wasn't the meat and potatoes, if you will, of like, a musician's livelihood. That was gravy. They spent most of their time and made most of their money touring and concerts and playing ballrooms and whatnot and touring the country, and that's what they spent most of their time doing. And so most of early jazz and even swing music into the 30s and into the 40s was very much it was a live art, performed live. Like, that was the bulk of it. So what we hear on records, especially the ones, the studio recordings, like, that's just scratching the surface, just the tip of the iceberg of their musical work. So I'm excited to hear things like like these radio recordings, to hear what some of those live recordings were like, and hopefully what it was like to be there, live, hearing Benny Goodman and his orchestra. Anyway, so I would say definitely a very good plus jacket. Now that I've rambled on, I mean, the corn, there is no creasing, a little bit of like just corner bumping, but really nothing here. Where I got kind of caught up was this interesting thing here. This is Sunbeam SB 146. So on their paste down here you got 146, and then over here you got 146 and 147, but the 147 is whited out with whiteout. So I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, definitely very good plus jacket. And the record, I mean, it looks really nice. It does have some extremely faint, it's like, surface marks. I don't know if those will show in the light. I don't know. They're really pretty faint. They are, the kind, just, I don't know what I've mentioned this now in a couple of videos. There's not very many, and they're really super faint. So they're probably not going to show up on camera. But just like those little, I don't think that's not going to show, I don't think. No, you can't see that. Those little surface, just kind of light surface marks that, I mentioned it, I think, in my Vinyl Tag 2020, I think. My theory is, maybe, somebody tell me if I'm assuming that, being kept in these crappy, just kind of not acid-free paper sleeves for what? When did this was 1975, so that's old, almost as old as me. So that's over 40 years old. So being, you know, kept in these crappy brown, you know, paper sleeves for 40 plus years. My assumption is that the acid in the paper has some kind of a reaction with the vinyl and causes those little kind of almost like pock marks, but they're not. They're just on the surface. So pock marks isn't really it. I don't know what you call that. Like little blemishes, little blemishes on the surface, on the skin of the vinyl. Anyway, that's my theory, that the sleeves do that over time. Usually they don't sound, although sometimes in my experience, if they're more pronounced, and you know, they will sometimes sound, but usually they don't. So technically, that is not a near mint record. I mean, it's not like new. It's got little surface marks on it. But it's super glossy. There's no scratches. There's no, you know. So I'm going to give that a pass. And I don't think I'll be calling these folks and saying, hey, your near mint record is not really near mint. It's not really near mint. But it's in super nice condition. And the price was right on these. I think I paid, these were like $5.99, you know, and these are like $6 a piece. Here we go. See with these sleeves, I don't want to get that stuck. Okay, so same deal here. So this is Camel Caravan. This is Sunbeam 147. So this is volume 2. August 24th, 1937, August 31st, 1937. You got the same personnel. And interesting here on it's got the 147 and the 147, no muck up there. So same deal. It's in looks like probably old original sleeve. This same kind of deal. I mean, there's some dust and stuff and some very faint, you know, and I suppose if you don't look at that, this one just seems like it's got a little like I don't know if that's a scuffing or just kind of like what this is here. I think there's just something on the surface of the record that may just clean off, and I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, super shiny. You know, it does have those surface marks, so you know, this one too. I mean, it's really not really near mint, but super glossy, no spindle hole wear. There's no scratches, just those surface marks. So, you know, I'm happy with that. Let's see here. Now we've got some. So this is the only one in the lot that was not graded near mint. This one was very good plus, very good plus. This is going on. This is becoming like a kind of a long video. Try to wrap this up in less than half an hour. Ugh, these sleeves are, see, they're gummy. They're like, it's like gummy stuff coming. That's why it got stuck on that Pink Floyd. Man, I thought for sure that I'd just, you know, nominated myself to spend $80 on that record. Sleeves in great shape. Again, I mean, there's no splits. There's no wear. I mean, the corners are nice. Just there's just a little bit of bumping. So this is Benny Goodman at the Manhattan Room. Sunbeam 116. This is October 13th, 1937. Personnel is probably the same because it's the same era. Trio, you know, Benny Goodman, Teddy Wilson, Gene Krupa, same deal. Same lineup. Recorded from the Manhattan Room of the Hotel Pennsylvania in New York City. on CBS, October 13th, 1937. This one was graded very good plus. It's got those same surface marks, but they're more pronounced here. They're not as faint. And it's got some light, like, scuffs, paper scuffs. It's like some kind of a scratch that goes that way, which is kind of weird, but it's light, and I don't think that's going to sound, can't feel it. So, I don't know if you can, and a couple like little just kind of surface scuffs here. So, I mean, you know, that fits in the very good plus category as far as I'm concerned. Again, nothing, I mean, you know, shiny, glossy, like no spindle hole wear. In fact, you can still see vinyl poking through. I don't know if you can see that on the camera there, but so that's always a good sign. Hasn't been played very much. That's what that tells me. So yeah, that's a good deal. And one more. The sleeves are a nice bonus, but again, I'm not a huge fan of the sealable sleeves. What do you guys like? Do you like the sealable sleeves? Do you like just the open-ended? Again, I mean, jacket's beautiful. There's just no. So this is Manhattan Room, Sunbeam 120, October 23rd, 1937. There's like at least 6 or 8 of these in this Manhattan Room series. This was pressed or released 1972. It's going to be the same deal. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but same label, Sunbeam in what's probably the original sleeve. Again, I see vinyl poking through the spindle hole. Yeah, it's you know, this one too has got those just kind of light surface marks. So, you know, again, I don't know if you probably can't see that. They're kind of faint. Oh, you can kind of see that at the top there when it reflects in that. When it those marks kind of shine a little bit in that light. Over here too, up at, you know, can just kind of see those a little bit when the. I had it for a minute there. Now it's gone. They just kind of reflect for a minute, but again, I mean, there's like, other than that, the records are absolutely beautiful, and you know, like I said, I think that's just essentially damage to the record from sitting in those paper sleeves for 50 years or whatever, 40 years. So, yeah. ActiveVinyl on Discogs. Overall, I mean, I would order from them again and just kind of take that in consideration. You know, like I said, technically, those aren't near mint records, because they've got, you know, those light surface marks. So they're not really near mint. You know, but other than that, they're beautiful. Jackets are great. The vinyl's great. You know, other than those light surface marks. So I would give them a thumbs up, especially, you know, with the, you know, including the sleeves, you know, shipping them with the records outside of the, you know, the jackets and in the sleeves, and the extra care with the, you know, all that extra padding and the bubble wrap and whatnot. Definitely, that's, you know, that's impressive. That's a high class operation. So I wouldn't give them a lot of grief about the, you know, surface marks. Yeah. ActiveVinyl. I'm happy with ActiveVinyl. And they were, you know, their customer service, they shipped super quick. I ordered that on, I don't remember what day of the week it was. But I ordered it like in the afternoon, like around 1, 2 o'clock. Maybe later, 2, 3, anyway, mid to late afternoon, you know, here in Wisconsin, Central Time. And they packaged it that same day. They had packaged the order and you know, had a shipping label and everything, so, in a, you know, a tracking number, and then it, you know, it didn't actually get to the post office until the next day. But I mean, it was less than 24 hours they had that, you know, packaged and shipped. So that was super impressive, super impressive. And like I said, you know, all the extra padding and stuff in there, super good. I'm happy. I'm very happy. And I got some records that I've been wanting for a while. Some of these, you know, live radio show Benny Goodman records in really nice shape, for a super fair price. Like I said, about $6 a piece. I think their shipping was, you know, a straight $5 for as many albums as you want. I think. I honestly don't remember now. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend the ActiveVinyl. So thank you guys so much for watching. You know, chime in, drop some comments. Would love the interaction, and a conversation, if you will. And you know, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Always appreciated. Never expected. And until next time, stay in the groove.